Hello there, potters. My name's Dante. I'm overweight. Okay, let's do it. Let's talk. This one's just gonna be a good old-fashioned vlog. You talk to me, I talk to you. I get to tell you things about the channel that you're gonna need for the future, and you get to tell me how the kids are doing. By the way, how is Samantha? I heard she just had a kid and named him Sasuke Uchiha. Yeah, I'm really scared for my next generation of just anime kids. I mean, Kanye's out there naming his kid Chicago West, so I guess no names are off the table anymore. I was just gonna name my kid Virgil, cause my name's Dante, and that would make sense to me historically. You know what? No one's gonna get that. Let's move on. No one's gonna get that. But in this vlog, there's a couple things I want to talk to you guys about for the benefit of the channel. Number one, we finally reached 3,000 subscribers. Yay! No, we're not gonna do anything special for it. I'm gonna wait until we get to 5,000, and then we might do another Q&A. We might do something. We'll do something special. But you guys have been sharing the videos, and I've been seeing myself on Pottery Heads mentioned, and I'm just trying really hard not to troll people because no one knows my real Facebook name. Like, oh yeah, I heard about the Earth Nation guy. That guy sucks. But it's me the whole time. So I just wanted to give you guys a thank you for that. I never thought that this channel would reach anywhere near 500 subscribers. We got to 1,000, I was like, okay, people like it, okay. 1,500, okay. A lot of people like this. This is weird. Got to 2,000. I'm starting to get worried. And now that it's at 3,000, I'm just kind of like, all right, I guess we're just gonna go full force. It was fun at first, and now I have to get serious. Which kind of goes along with the motif of the second thing I want to talk to you about. My Patreon page is getting quite large, and I have a lot of questions about it on almost a weekly basis. So I figured in this video I would just break down the tiers of my Patreon page, what they do, and where we're at in the state of Patreon right now. At current, my Patreon page is around 40 different patrons, which is wonderful, because every 20 patrons I have over a certain tier, I automatically send them a piece of my own artwork every single month. So essentially what happens at the second tier of Patreon support, I dig a name out of a hat, and I pick out 2 now instead of 1, because I told everybody for every 20 patrons I have, I would pick 1 more winner. So that also goes for 60. If we get to 60 patrons, 3 people can win per month. So you've most likely already seen the package go out on my Earth Nation Ceramics Facebook page, on Instagram, but most likely I've sent out 2 packages this month. Probably some nice bowls, some nice cups. I know a lot of people like that gold luster, so I'm probably gonna try and use the rest of that. I was trying to wink at you, it didn't work out too well. But for those of you who don't know, whenever you do a YouTube video, you can monetize it, and that monetization gives you a little bit of money. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. For every 1,000 views I get maybe like 50 cents, and it's on a monthly basis. So even this video right here will probably not even get over 400 or 500 at my current state, even though I have 3,000 subscribers, because only really 2,000 of you habitually come and watch me every single week. Also, half of the people who subscribe to me just want knowledge about ceramic artwork and really don't care about me or my personality or what I'm doing in the art world. They just want to know how to like pass that class. So because YouTube gives you such little money unless you're a huge platform like maybe like Tim C or Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or Hishing, you're not really getting the amount of support you need to continue your channel. Like for example, the only reason I have my kiln and this nice camera that you're watching me on right now is from my Patreon page. Now when you look up what is Patreon, it's gonna give you like a whole list of things to just don't click. Basically, Patreon is a website where instead of YouTube paying me for your view, you have the ability to support me directly. So for example, if I choose to be a patron of Markiplier's, it's because every single week I turn on my computer and I'm watching Markiplier. That is the channel I go to. I'm not scouring YouTube for all these videos. I literally open my computer every day and go like, what has he posted? I'm interested in his life, I like him as a creator, and I'm really behind him as far as that support goes. So I throw a Starbucks cup worth of money at him per month to make sure that he stays alive, and that's basically what Patreon is. As far as my Patreon page goes, there's 5 different tiers. At the first tier, you get early access to YouTube videos as well as special content before it hits anything else, including Instagram and Facebook. At the second tier, you automatically get entered in for a drawing each and every month, so I can pick your name out of a hat or buy a computer-generated thing. I've done it both ways. And then I automatically send you a piece of my artwork. So if you've ever seen that nice little golden cup or a nice bowl that you want, there's a good chance my Patreons have a good majority of my artwork inside their place. And it's usually gonna be functional, a bowl, a cup, a plate, something like that. At the third tier, you can order a commission, and not only can you order a commission, you automatically get bumped up to the top spot. So you guys can't see it, but over there I have a board full of like 10 different commissions that I'm doing right now, and they're all from patrons, right? But if anybody in the real world asks me, hey, can I get a commission from you? Unless it's a ridiculous amount of money, I take care of my patrons first. I know where my bread's buttered. The fourth tier is kind of weird, but it also was requested by a couple people. The fourth tier is essentially the ability to ask me for advice on anything ceramic artwork at any given notice. And a lot of people do that per day. I get at least one message a day of someone who's like, hey, how do I do this? Or how do I do this? And if I took the time to answer every single message on a daily basis in depth, how I'm supposed to answer it, like a good person who's trying to teach you about something, I would have no time to eat, sleep, drink, skeet. I wouldn't have any time to do that stuff. But the fourth tier of patron basically gets full access to my brain as far as the art world goes. On the fifth tier, which I'm surprised people sign up for in the first place, you automatically get sent a piece in the mail. And that doesn't nullify the other winners. If 2 people win and I get a fifth tier person, I'm now sending out 3 packages a month of mail. Mail with shiny goodness in it. And I like Patreon because it's a way for people to directly support other people. I really don't like when a big company kind of takes advantage of the little guy, you know, like we did with Nunu's channel in the last video, where it was like they're just gonna shut down his channel because he doesn't have enough subscribers. And I'm only here still and still getting monetized because of you beautiful people and you dirty potters. And Patreon's awesome in the way that if YouTube stopped paying me at all, which by the way, I make like $5 a month off of YouTube. It is not at all a big amount of money. But if YouTube ever did stop supporting me in that way as a creator, I have Patreon where they're like, we're not gonna let you die. And that's the thing I love about Patreon. Okay, that's enough Patreon talk. Let's move on to the second thing I wanted to talk about, because there's like 5 different things. You've probably been seeing some pictures on my Facebook fan page and my Twitter and my Instagram and my stories, but there are these little tiny trophies. Please, Future Dante, would you mind put Destiny 2 down and put some pictures up, please? Thank you, Jesus. These right here were commissioned by the Blue Line Art Gallery in Roseville, California. One day a friend of mine, who's the curator at that gallery, called me up and was like, I need you to do something for me. And of course, as one of the people who like that's my job to do stuff like that, I was like, yeah, sure, what do you need? He asked me to make a bunch of trophies and I made them, and he told me they were for an award ceremony, which I got tickets to. I found it weird that there were tickets to an art ceremony, but I don't think I knew the caliber of what was going on here. They asked me a lot of information, they asked me to make a little artist statement, and they modified it for me and they helped me edit it. They gave me feedback on what they wanted me to do versus what I was going to do, and it took maybe about a month to do this commission the right way I wanted to do it, as well as how to represent me as an artist in this, because this is now going to be out in the world. Whoever gets these pieces is going to have it on their shelf forever with my name on the bottom, with my symbol on the bottom. So we did all that and the day came and I was like, you know what, I'll go to the ceremony, no problem. Guys, I did not know. I had no idea. First of all, it was on a college campus. Second of all, I walked in and they already knew my name. Third of all, I was late, so they had already introduced me. They have already shown me on a giant PowerPoint presentation screen thing. And thirdly, I was supposed to give like a tiny little speech about what the pieces named to me. And fourthly, they gave out a pamphlet. It was a gala event. And somewhere in the back of this book is a picture of me and my artwork and the trophies. Future Dante, can you put this on the screen? It has my name, it has my last name, it has a picture of me smiling like a cheese ball up there, which is really rare, by the way, to find a picture with me smiling in it, because I usually go for like the swag. I had no idea the caliber that this thing would be. When I walked in, everyone was dressed nicely. Everybody had crisp, clean, 3-piece, butter fresh looking suits. Except for your boy. I showed up in a not anime shirt, which is as nice as it gets. Right now, these are my nice clothes, because there's no Mega Man on here. It was a huge room. There was food and really good coffee everywhere. The whole mood was set. Everyone there looked like they came from money or had more than me at least.
He is the new director of cultural and creative economy.
There was a lady in the corner doing opera who was next to a lady playing the flute, very well I might add, and next to that lady was somebody on the harp. That's right, this event was so high class there was somebody playing opera next to somebody else who was on the harp. This is the kind of event where like, I should not be allowed, because this is the kind of place where I'm like, oh, This is too high class for me. I am now extremely uncomfortable. This isn't the main point of me telling you about this, but just as a side note, I am extremely uncomfortable with high class culture. It is just not my style. I am a dirty, low class kind of person. I work in a garage. I educate myself on a subject whenever I want to. Luckily we have the internet and I have books. That's just not my style. And while I was up there reading my own face in a pamphlet, which still freaks me out honestly, and it just became really apparent to me that while I'm online trying to teach people what I know for free and really get them to pass their class and get them where they need to be and fulfill themselves as artists, there's people in my community who are doing the same thing but on a real world level. And that made me not envious, but it really woke me up to the fact that like I need to be doing this as well as be out there. So from this point on, every single month I'm going to be checking in my area to see art competitions. I'm going to be checking for auctions. I'm also going to be checking for donations. And whether I like it or not, I think sadly enough I'm going to have to start going to like these art parties. But I make no promises that you're going to see three-piece suit Dante. You're going to see Dragon Ball Z hoodie Dante probably until I'm like 40. And so I think at the end of this year, my goal is to get inside 1 or 2 more stores because I'm already inside of Rumpelstiltskin in Sacramento for my yarn bowls, which are getting better by the way. People are giving me tips on them and I really thank you guys for that. I'm having people who actually crochet and yarn who are like, it would be great if you did this instead of this. You guys don't know what I'm doing, but they know. And I feel like I just didn't want to become what I feared becoming. Like I never wanted to be that guy in his basement who's 60 who's like, okay kids, if the last video center didn't help you, maybe this center video will help you. And for those of you who've been following me for a long time, you already know I don't want to be that guy who sits in his basement and does like one thing for the rest of his life. I don't want to learn how to make cups with cartoons on them and just pump those out all day long. I don't want to get really good at yarn bowls and just pump out yarn bowls all day long. I don't want to do plates with decals on them and just pump those out all day long. I want to be somebody who really gets the basics down to the point where I become flawless at them, and then I want to improve myself, because I think that's really the crux of anything that you do, is to really master the basics and then start playing with your forms. And I think those basics are pretty much along the lines of throwing, trimming, glazing, kilning. And that's what I really want to show people how to do, is the basics, and anything above that is just their own personality, is the way they like to express themselves as artists. I think it's really important to have a foundation for what you're supposed to do. But I also understand in order to get my name out there, I need to be out in the art world actively doing stuff. There's always been a class of people who do art, and then there's people who have a lot of money who support the people who do art. And that's how Dante existed, that's how Bernini existed, that's, you know what I mean? That's how a lot of the famous names in artwork actually exist. I don't mean Dante me, I mean Alighieri, the poet. Come on, calm down. I was named after him. I don't poetry. I don't poet. I can barely human. Oh, he thinks so highly of himself. I just spent a whole 5 minutes telling you that I was low class, so maybe check your privilege. Plus, I really think you guys would like to see more art shows, and you'd probably like to see me out in the community a lot more, because every single video can't be from this cage of a box I'm in. Even if it's a cage I've chosen myself, it's still a cage. Like, I don't want this to become my prison over time, and the only way I communicate with you guys is through this. It's very clear to me now, especially from that event, that I really need to be out in the art world, really expressing who I am and making a difference in my community, not just doing it online. Because it's really easy to sit behind a camera and tell you what I need to tell you in order for you to pass that class, or for you to understand how to do what I do at the same level. But I think it's harder, and it takes a little bit more courage, and it's a little bit more challenging to get out there in the art world and really express those things that I need to express, and to experience those failures so I can grow as a person. And so that event really opened my eyes to that. That's something that needs to be done. So at the beginning of every month from this point on, I'm gonna check about 5 studios in my area and see what's really going on. So maybe I'll try and get inside some more Second Saturday tables in Sacramento, so you might see me around town hollering at the anime girls with the big glasses. I have a problem. I love glasses. I have a problem with glasses. Okay, that one's done. On to the next thing. I'm sorry, I know I talked too long. And in very angry Dante news, Dante's still angry there's no anime out there about ceramic artwork, but there's one about swimming, and there's one about badminton, and there's one about baseball, and there's one about high school life called Slice of Life, which, by the way, Slice of Life anime is basically an anime that has no powers in it. It's literally about kids in high school or real life situations, which is just like watching regular ass people walk around, but there's no ceramic art. I think the goal for this channel ultimately is literally to get so popular that I can hire or find somebody who draws artwork or makes anime to the point where you can either start making comics or an anime specifically off of the ceramic art experience. I'm not saying it has to be about me, but if you have to use me as a plateau for that, then do it. But at the same time, my goal for life right now is to get so good at ceramic artwork that the anime world has no choice but to make an animation of ceramic artwork. You know how shameful it is to have Yuri on Ice and not have your own ceramic platform up there with I want clay to be seen as something that's badass in our society. Because regardless of your age, you do actually need to have time, money, and a safe space to do your artwork in. You need to have a place to put a kiln, which is usually not an apartment, so usually you either have to go to a studio and pay the studio, which you have the money to do in the first place, or you need to be a homeowner to have that studio in the first place. Then you have the money to buy your own clay. Then you have to have the money to buy your own stuff. Then you have to have the time to actually put into your work to make it good. So unless you want to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning and go to your studio and pound out bowls for 4 hours straight, or you want to do it while you're supporting yourself on your job, or you want to go to school and do it, it's going to be very difficult for you. So the majority of people who get into ceramic artwork usually have time, a lot of time, which means they usually don't go to school and have a job at the same time. They also have money, which means they're usually not young, I will say that. I don't see a lot of 17-year-olds walking around with the ability to buy their own kilns unless their parents or something bought it for them. You need to have your own place or a studio next to you with the availability, which means you either have to be a homeowner or again living with your parents who will let you put a kiln in the house, which is already kind of iffy. You also need a source of knowledge and support, so you either need to be looking at YouTube channels or reading ceramic books or chemistry books to make your own glaze and learn how to wedge clay. You also have to have the availability of classes inside of your area to learn or somewhere to learn from. And those, like 3 out of those 4 things usually require that you have something that usually people who are over the age of their teen years have. And I think that's the problem, is that a lot of people kind of see this art as a thing where it's like, oh, that's just a thing that like older retired people do. In other places, they respect ceramic artists a lot. There's just potters everywhere in Japan, and they have a respect for them, and it's very fancy and it's very nice. It's a very honorable thing to do. It's something that you can dedicate your life to that no one looks down on. But in our society, when I tell people I'm a potter, their next question is, oh, so what do you do for work then? And that's a very shameful question, because that tells you that our society doesn't support the arts in the way that they would support things that make money for our economy. And that kind of just says that like we'd much rather make money than care about our people. Bar none. And so the secondary goal for this channel is simply to make art a badass thing. Okay, I'm getting hungry. I'm trailing off now. I'm getting hungry. I said everything that I wanted to say. I wanted to thank you guys so much for joining me in this. This was just a chance for me to talk to you, you to talk to me, and leave a comment down below. Tell me how your day is going. Tell me how you guys are progressing as far as ceramic artwork goes, because I get a lot of pictures per day of people who are like, oh, your video showed me how to do this, and you just know how to do a bowl now because of your video, and I love them. I share them on the Facebook fan page all the time, and it makes me so happy to know that my channel is actually helping people out there to do something functional. It's not just entertaining you, it's entertaining and educating you. So thank you very much, I appreciate that. So thank you guys very much for joining me. If you want to see any of my actual artwork, the links are down below. I just went through like a mass exodus of Instagram, so I used to have like 250 pictures up there, and now I have 150. I will destroy stuff if I don't like it. That's a very common thing in ceramic artwork. We know how to love things without getting attached to them, so whenever we need to destroy something, it just gets destroyed. So you hurry over there, because I will destroy a lot of things. You guys have a wonderful day, may your kilns burn hot, and I will see you dirty potters next week. It seemed like the kind of place where they think that eating at Chipotle makes you cultured in some way. And they say the word succulents way too much. Like, oh, those are good for succulents. This is good for succulents.